let's go ahead and introduce our first lovely player here at the top right. He is our Red Zerg, playing for the team of Afrika Freaks, hailing from Korea, and also the makers of nice fine suits. He is ARMANI.
I was wondering where you were gonna take that one, but yeah, I guess he makes nice suits. But yeah, in the bottom left corner of 2000 atmospheres, the third Alpha X player of the day, he is classic.
Alright, so while we get this game underway, a little bit of a breaking news earlier. Some of you guys, of course, have heard it by now, but some of you who may not have heard it, Vitamin, why don't you go ahead and inform our viewers what just happened?
I assume you're referring to the news that Big Daddy Blizzard, also known as Activision Blizzard, has been acquired by Microsoft and the Xbox. Well, all of the Blizzard games basically are going to fall into the Xbox family now, which well, as of now, we don't really have any idea on what implication this is going to have for the game that we love, which is StarCraft. But well, the way that I see it is that well, the state that we're in right now, or before today, I guess, Activision Blizzard has kind of left StarCraft to, well, die gracefully on its own. Maybe that's the way to phrase it. And now with another investor, with another company coming in, maybe they recognize the potential that the game still has. Because I think if anything in the last 2 years, we as a community have proven that we can still hang in there. We're still profitable. Well, StarCraft 2 fans are very happy to spend money on their favorite games. So maybe Microsoft can recognize that, and well, maybe it's not going to be the new era of StarCraft or StarCraft 3 coming out, but maybe just once again a little bit of attention to details, maybe a patch here and there. I know Microsoft isn't known for patching very frequently either, but I don't think you can get any fewer patches than we've seen in StarCraft for a long time now. So I'm choosing to be cautiously optimistic here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like over the past few years, StarCraft scene has been kind of ignored a little bit. We haven't had as much map rotations. We had less patches. It seems like, you know, they were willing to let StarCraft 2, you know, kind of dwindle slowly. Of course, the StarCraft 2 community has been very strong, and so that hasn't happened as precipitously. And the I mean, it's been slowed down in terms of StarCraft 2. I mean, you know, it's a 12-year or 11 to 12-year-old game, so I can understand. But with this acquirement from Microsoft, there is a little bit of hope that maybe, you know, there is going to be a bit more love given to the StarCraft 2 community, and it does, not as likely, but it does give at least a little bit of hope that maybe StarCraft 3 can be underway, maybe, or at least considered, because in the previous regime, that was like, there was no question that there was not going to be a StarCraft 3. So who knows? We'll see what the future holds, but at the very least, some big breaking news for sure.
Big breaking news in this game is we have a fleet beacon on the way. Well,
maybe Microsoft can acquire the fleet beacon as well.
Oh yeah. It looks like a profitable investment. But yeah, but this is how you can go and kill the time of a PvZ that's maybe not as exciting. Or maybe this Oracle. Ooh, we're living on the edge there. But yeah, to break the game down for you guys real quick, we had a Stargate opening out of Classic. The Oracle got a little bit done, is very bruised though, and the transition out of this is going to be, well, a second Stargate and a fleet beacon. And the Classic in the past has was someone that liked to go for Tempest very early on, but this time around it is going to be just a very early carry attack.
Yeah,
With one
like...
carrier already on the way, the second Stargate is done, so as soon as he gets the money for that, Classic should also fire up that second carrier. This Oracle, by the way, still at it, very low, has accumulated 7 kills by now, so well done, Mr. or Mrs. Oracle.
Yeah, that Oracle has definitely paid for itself, and does live to do some extra more damage later on potentially. But of course, it looks like we do have our carriers out and about right now as they pop off, and let's see if they go across the map. We do see sometimes that the Protoss will send the carriers, their initial carriers out, and then maybe recall if things get too dicey, because there's not going to be a lot of corruptors in the early game. Maybe some queens here and there, but not a lot of like corruptors to hunt them down. Not a lot of hydralisks to hunt them down. So you know, you do see some Protosses may send their carriers out to get some initial damage, and then some just like sit them back and try to hide them or something, and just kind of build up the count. But it looks like Classic electing to actually send them out and be active with them.
Yeah, 2 carriers here now, almost with the full interceptors. One of them needs another interceptor. There are now 12 hiders on the way, so this is going to be deflected eventually. But well, for the time being, I guess Classic just happy to focus fire these hiders here. The queens are now joining into this fight, but yeah, 3-4 hiders going down for just the cost of a couple of interceptors here is not bad. And well, as long as these carriers are just hovering over this ledge there, they're not in any threat of actually getting killed. So yeah, I like the choice. If you have carriers this early, it's a very powerful unit. It's very hard to deal with completely and entirely. So yeah, getting a bit of damage, trading out, well, half of the carrier's HP for just about 5 hiders or so.
Yeah, there's not a lot of effective anti-air here in the early game for Zerg, so always good to send your initial carries out and try to get some little few damage here and there if possible. But of course, you do see that the Hydralisk does have their upgrades right now. Looking to move out, kills the rocks, and makes a kind of creates an opening here through the middle for maybe the queens to even walk up. But actually, Hydra's range does finish, but not Hydra's speed yet. So Armani might want to be careful, because if he does get overwhelmed, it's going to be difficult for him to retreat. So looks like Armani's going to play safe, smartly. We'll retreat for the time being and wait for the upgrades to finish before moving out.
Classic's approach to this is very curious to me right now, because we do see blink and +2 ground weapons in the production now. I'm wondering if this is not an attempt to just well, like straight rush into the lake. Oh, one carrier getting dangerously low gets away though. I'm wondering if this is just an attempt to sit on these 6 carriers, support the army with a whole bunch of stalkers, blink and +2, and really make a go for it here now. Because usually with this kind of opening, as the Protoss player, you're rushing into the late game, you're getting like into the golden armada kind of style. But yeah, Classic, he's built 6 carriers and that's about it. And now with +2 finishing, I'm wondering if he wants to be aggressive here.
Yeah, looks like he might want to, because I mean, I don't feel like Blink Stalker follow-up is the best against a Zerg player that followed up with Hydralisk to counter the carriers, because Hydralisk, Banelings, and Lings do really squashes Stalkers. But maybe if Classic can amass enough Stalkers before there's enough of Lings and Banelings, then maybe he can actually break Armani. And this is actually a really great timing, actually, where there's only a handful of Hydralisk. Lings are popping out, but they're dying little by little in the line.
Yeah, great splits there initially from the Banelings, and the core army of the Protoss is still surviving here. These carriers, they remain pretty much untouched. A couple of them have lost their interceptors, but they're going hard still, and Classic, with this timing, he just takes the game. That was something that you don't see every day with a double Stargate opening straight into carriers into a +2 Blink Stalker timing. Classic, okay. Save some of your strategies for the Super Tournament. Oh wait, no, never mind. He's out of the Super Tournament.
It's a best of 3, so there is still opportunity for Armani to tie up the series. But can he do it here on game number 2? Going to take place on Hardwire. Do you think Classic should go for the same strategy into that like carrier tech, or do you think he should like maybe change it up into a different build order?
I think he could obviously play it again. It's not something that's super easy to just punish. But not knowing Classic is someone that usually he prepares a couple of builds for a couple of maps, and then he plays a different one on the second one, or at least a different variation of this. This is how he approaches this matchup in particular. He's this is also something that I was going to mention, because we did see another PvZ already today, and that PvZ was just both players gentleman's agreement, go straight for the late game. But with Classic, we usually see some sort of attempt to become aggressive in the mid game and deal crippling damage, or well, at least shift the game into his advantage. He's not someone that sits back, plays the late game. He's very capable in playing the late game. He just doesn't wanna go there without making the attempt to get an earlier advantage.
Yeah, now it is important to note that Classic and Zoun are in the same team, so maybe they sometimes swap build orders here and there. You never know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, sometimes you look at teammates and you're like, they actually talk to one another and like discuss ideas with one another, trade build orders, or do they just kind of play on their own and you're just teammates, on the same team?
Well, so maybe I can provide a little bit of insights there. Obviously, I don't want to give away too much, but what has been the case for the longest time is Classic has been somewhat Jones' idol for a long time. So while Classic obviously returning from the military is maybe not as versed in the current meta, he has a lot of respect from Zoun. So they're kind of mentoring each other in a way where Classic just shares a lot of the experience and insights that you need as a pro gamer, whereas Zoun has helped him out a little bit to catch up with the current meta. It's not necessarily that they're just exchanging builds, it's more that they're exchanging ideas and then giving them their own twist, basically. You see stylistically these two are actually quite different from each other nowadays, but the underlying ideas they share.
Okay, that's some great insight. Didn't know that. But you know what? I think you were on the money. I mean, Classic looks like he's more of an aggressive player, and that shows as he is researching glaive adepts here, not looking to just sit back and play defensively. He's going to look to put on some pressure, and oh my goodness, how many adepts is that? 14.
Yeah, these adepts, I don't think Armani has gotten a scout on that yet. He has droned up to 60, and there are no roaches on the way.
Oh boy.
Or even present. This could spell disaster for the Zerg player. This is the first time that Armani sees these adepts, and now he's even investing into Aspire. More links are coming out.
Oh no.
Armani's just gonna fall over dead here. This is gonna do so much damage. These Lings and Queens are going to have such a hard time ever catching up with these adepts. He's doing a nice job saving a lot of his drones here, but all it's gonna take is for some of these adepts to be in a mineral line uncontested for just a second. And well, you can't just keep the adepts up in the main base. He's taken out the spawning pool, and now the Queens have to react, and this is going from bad to worse here for ARMANI. The adepts can just fight the Queen straight up, and now they've entered another mineral line. 20 drones already, and this is nowhere near done. There are no roaches that are taking care of this slowly but steadily, but like I said, it's not even done. Into the third base, another drone pull being forced. Already 26 drones being down, and it looks like that might have been the last of it, but that was more than enough. And to follow up here for Classic with a Blink Stalker Disruptor is just going to be absolutely deadly.
Ooh, yeah, that is so unfortunate for ARMANI. Was not able to see this coming, and he was just caught with his pants down, and loses 26 drones for it, which is pretty much game crushing. I would say it's going to be pretty difficult for ARMANI to climb himself back out of this hole. And Classic looking like he is not even going to allow ARMANI any chance, as he is moving across the map with his Disruptor and Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, usually as a Zerg player with this drone count, you just want to sit back and somehow defend, but it's not like Classic is giving him any time right here. This army is very scary. Blink is halfway done. There are disruptors, and this is it's going to be so hard for ARMANI to fight into this. He's gotten back up to a drone count. This is the drone count that you need to be at, but this army is so scary, and well, disruptor shots are going to just be massive here, I would imagine. The Void Ray is going down at least, but first disruptor shot coming in. Only zoning, so that one not quite hitting yet, but even taking out the fourth base here is great damage for Classic already, and more Stalkers swapping in. He could just probably overwhelm with just Stalkers at this point.
Yeah, although I think it would be smarter to just move back and wait for more disruptors. Because he did waste his Disruptor Nova already, and he doesn't have any more force fields left. And you know, Blink Stalkers are decently good, but against roaches and ravagers, they're not the greatest. So I think you need to add in a bit more disruptors to zone some of those roaches and ravagers out, and then I think that engagement will be more favorable. And looks like Classic is going to actually go ahead and build up his disruptors while taking a fourth base. So really smartly keeping up with his economy as well, so that if this attack fails, he at least have something to fall back on. Interesting
enough, ARMANI is now able to produce some of the mutas because of the Spire that he invested earlier in. He's crawling back into this game better than I thought he would, and the mutas now have some potential to deal damage. The main base out of Classic is mostly unprotected. There's one cannon, but one cannon is not gonna stop mutas from wrecking a mineral line, so yeah, actually quite impressed here by ARMANI's ability to bring this back.
Yeah, I mean, as a Protoss, when you go for Blink Stalkers, you're not expecting them to go for Mutalisk, because you know you already have Blink Stalkers to counter, and looks like ARMANI will go ahead and use that kind of meta instead, in a way. But Classic, yeah, he's defending all right. I mean, only losing 6 probes, not the worst, I would say.
Not the worst, but we also have to keep in mind that he never really got up to a super impressive probe count in the first place. So, well, he certainly would want to be on a higher count here now. But yeah, it looks like he's just setting up to maybe try and end the game with his next upgrades finishing up here. Otherwise, I am not too happy about him sitting at 60 probes and not reprobing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, he's invested a lot into his army. So as you can see, he's behind 18 workers, but he's ahead by a decent amount in the army counts. And he does have those disruptors, so if he can get some nice disruptor hits, then maybe he can kind of further increase his army lead. And oh, that was juicy one.
The first one. Yeah, two of the disruptor shots whiffs, but one straight center of the banelings there, and this attack is not over yet. He's going circling down here to that bottom base, well, killing that one off, and well, that push isn't done yet. And what the path that he has taken, he's well, there's just a little bit of a choke point, and really disruptors can do a lot here. ARMANI can't even properly fight here because he has to constantly kite back. And keep in mind, this is before classic upgrades are done. Imagine how well this would go if we already had this +2 and +1 upgrade here.
Yeah, they're about to finish, but it looks like Classic doesn't even need it to kill that hatchery. And here we go. Looks like ARMANI is setting up a nice surround here. However, is it going to be enough? There's still a lot of Blink Stalkers left over. And I think, yeah, he's going to overwhelm ARMANI. And there we have it. Classic is going to go ahead and defeat ARMANI 2-0. And he will advance to the quarterfinals.